Hey fellas, Meat Trapper here. Today I want to talk about trapping in the city, the big city. There's a lot of people that think, hey, I can't go out and trap. I can't be more self-sufficient. I live in the big city. I live in a suburban neighborhood. I don't have access to wilderness, whatever. Nothing could be further from the truth. So let me tell you, there is more food running around the average suburb and around the average city than there is in the deep wilderness. Trust me. A lot of times my son and I will go deer hunting out on our hunting property and we won't see a single deer. We get in the truck and we drive home and we're dodging deer as they jump across the road once we get back to the neighborhood. I work a regular 9-to-5 job. Actually, it's not 9 to 5. Anybody that is actually working and paying taxes knows we got work a lot longer than that to take care of the people that don't want to work. But be that as it may, my office building holds 1,500 people. And take a look at this bobcat that we recently filmed walking down the paved walking track that's around the building. And this walking track is for the employees to get out and walk on their lunch hour. And you can see this cat's walking right down the middle of it in broad daylight. You don't see that in the deep woods. Here's some deer on the same path. So people have raccoons coming up in their backyard eating their dog food. We got coyotes in downtown Atlanta. So there's animals out there. And the thing is, many times they're easier to catch than the animals in the big woods because they have lost their fear of humans. So there are no excuses. The only person that's going to stop you is you. Now there's some basic rules that I follow that I'd like to share with you. Number one, if you're going to be trapping in the city, no guns. Rule number two, no guns. And you guessed it, rule number three, no guns. I don't care if you've got a permit. I don't care if you live in a non-communist state like I do. Leave the guns at home. Sooner or later, you're going to have an encounter with the police. And let's be honest, we live in a police state. Sooner or later, you're going to be noticed. Either the cops are going to notice you down under a bridge or in a ditch, or some fearful little busybody is going to report you because you're different. And we cannot tolerate difference in our society. We have to know everybody's business these days. And if somebody is doing something unusual or different, we need to report them. They might be a terrorist. And we have to make sure that they have permission from the government to be doing whatever the hell it is they're doing under that bridge. Keep that in mind. So when the cops roll up, you have to be prepared and you have to have thought about how you're going to handle this encounter. I've never had an unpleasant encounter while city trapping with the police. First thing I do is if I see them pull over up behind my truck or pull off the road, I'm going to make sure that I'm presentable looking. I'm not going to be wearing camouflage. I'm not going to have a gun. I'm going to be dressed as close as I can to some sort of contractor or construction worker. Many times I wear an orange reflective vest like a flagman on the side of the road. What that's saying is I'm not trying to hide. I want to be seen. I'm not up to no good. I'm not hiding. So I'll come up out of the ditch or out from under the bridge or wherever I'm at, and I approach and I say, "Hello, officer. I'm Meat Trapper. I'm a licensed trapper, and I'm licensed by the state to do beaver removal. And I'm down here trapping the beaver that have got this creek flooded, and it's raising the water level back up stream. Here's my ID. Give me just a second and I'll get you my licenses." Now what I've done there is I haven't told a lie. That's rule number 4. Don't lie to the cops. Now, I may have misled them a little bit. I may have given them the impression that the state has asked me to come get these beavers. That's not really the case. But I am licensed by the state. I am authorized to do it. And so factually, I'm not lying to them. What I have done really is I have identified myself. I've stated what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and I've offered to produce my papers. Now, the average cop is used to dealing with liars. I've had them tell me before, I really appreciate you being honest with me, because everybody I come in contact with lies to me. That goes a long way. Now, the average cop, when he sees somebody under a bridge or down in a ditch or off in the woods, he thinks they're up to no good. Doing drugs, selling drugs. Maybe they're disposing of a body. Hell, who knows? Last thing he is going to imagine is that they're catching raccoons for dinner. So I always mention the fact, usually they're going to ask me, well, what do you do with them? Well, I sell the pelts and I eat the meat. I feed the meat to my family. This is a part-time job for me, and I'm just trying to put food on my table. So right there, I've distanced myself from people that are scamming the system, and I've demonstrated that I'm out working for food. Now, I live in a non-communist state, and at this point, I usually will offer my business card to them and say, if you run across anybody else that's having beaver problems, I would appreciate you giving them my name. I could use the work. You may live in a communist state. You may live in a terrible place, and I can't do anything about that. But what I've just shared with you is what I do, and it has never failed me. Just remember, don't lie. Don't brandish or carry guns, not even in your truck. And that leads to the next thing, and that is, how do you find a place to trap? And what do you trap them with? Number 1, water equals life. Life equals food. Get on Google Earth, Google Maps. Look for creeks and look for where roads cross the creek. Keep your eyes open when you're driving to and from work. When you're driving to and from the store. Always be looking for food. Always be looking for water. Look at every bridge that you come to and see if there's a pull-off. See if there's any place that you could pull off, get down there, make a set, and get back up. Mark these places out. Keep a catalog of them. The next thing is traps. You're going to need to either use a lethal trap, like a conibear, or you're going to need to use a cage trap. Now, by cage trap, I don't mean have a heart. Most trappers will call those traps have-a-junks. You make 1 or 2 catches in them and they're shot. A good cage trap is like one that's made by Kirk DeKalb of Advanced Trap. You can look him up on the internet. AdvancedTrap.com, I think, is what his website is. He's a good man. He's an honest man. But you're going to pay well over $100 for a cage trap. So for me, that means conibears. Now, you're in the city. You got to worry about the law. And here we get to some real sticky issues. You've got to use judgment and ethical common sense. For me, with beavers, it's pretty easy. I can submerge a 330 in the water. That's perfectly legal. And I know I'm not going to catch anybody's stray dog running up and down the highway. You're going to have to be the judge of what you do. I don't believe in telling another man how to live his life. I don't believe in telling another man what's right and what's wrong for him. He's got to decide that, and he's got to take the credit or the consequences for his decisions. And I know I do. So, if you have concerns about that, invest in a cage. A cage is not going to kill anything. So enough said about that. So anyway, I've talked long enough. Let's get out there and let me show you what it looks like when I go city trapping. Stay tuned. Okay, now here's a classic set that I want to show you. And what we've got here is a creek running this direction, and then we have a small feeder creek coming off to the side. And you can see this narrows down and gets quite narrow. There's a choke point right in here. Now I chose a space that was just about the size of a 330 right there, submerged it in the water, and then smeared lure on top of the dive poles, so that when the beaver comes down the creek, he veers off, dives under the pole, and hits the 330. And there is my stake, my chain. Let's see what we have. Oh yeah. Let's see. Oh yeah. Boy, that's a nice one there. Look at there. That is a nice beaver right there. Once again, the circle triggers work great. And you can see that is a perfect net catch. Let's pull that over. There we go. Perfect catch. Almost an instant dispatch. I love a properly tuned Belial. Now, I want to show you how I'm gang setting this, because right there I've got one of my deep water snare sets. And you can see there's the rebar right there. That water is probably 4 feet deep, and I have a snare hanging off that. The lure was on the cross sticks, and that snare loop is knocked down. So something wasn't quite right. He didn't hit that snare quite right, and that didn't make a catch. Right there is the dam, and I've got another 330 that was set on that crossover, so let's go check that. There he is. The 330 was set right in the main crossover there. Let's get this. Oh yeah, it's another nice one. And once again, perfect catch. No suitcase catches, nothing like that. Nice instant dispatch. So that's 2 beavers out of 3 sets. So I'm going to reset these, re-lure. I'll check them again tomorrow. And that'll probably be all for this little hole right here. It's right on the side of the road. Easy to get to. And I take a couple of beaver every year out of here. Okay, now here's this morning's catch at this stop. You can see that is a nice beaver. I mean, that is a nice one. Look how fat he is. Second one here, just as nice. Both of them perfect catches in the Belial 330. Now, as you know, most of the time I snare my beaver and try and keep them alive till I get here, but I'm checking this first thing in the morning, and I want to show you why. This is not exactly deep wilderness trapping. This is a major highway right here. This is early in the morning, so there's very little traffic on the road. But if you think that you can't trap because you don't live in the country, or you think you can't feed yourself because you're not in the wilderness somewhere, that's not a very good view. That's one of the busiest intersections in Alabama, and I'll show you some footage of it later. And I've just pulled off the road. This is a creek that goes under a bridge. I found a vacant lot, pulled off, made my sets, and here's the key. In order to keep a low profile, I'm coming in the last light in the afternoon, putting my sets in, luring them up, getting out. You know how long it takes in to put through, you know how long it takes to put in 2 330s with stabilizers? About 2 minutes. It takes longer to walk down to the creek than it does to make the sets. I go down, pull them, carry them up, throw them in the truck, do that at first light, and I'm gone. I'm on site here over a course of 2 days for less than 10 minutes over 2 days. I'll catch 2 or 3 out of this hole, and then I'll be done with it till next year. You find 25 or 30 such holes, you take 2 or 3 beaver, you're done for the year. You fed your family, and you're farming your populations. You're not wiping any spots out or anything else. Think about it. There's nothing stopping you except yourself. All right, let's head on home. We got some skinning to do, that's for sure. The takeaway here is always be looking for food. We're hunter-gatherers. Always be looking for food. File it away, store it for future use, or better yet, start using it. Thanks for coming along. We'll see you next time.